Hello, and welcome to the Business as Unusual podcast with TRG. I'm your host, Rick Yvanovich. Today, I'm joined by Tariq Hawa, the Director of Product Management for SunSystems and Q&A. Good morning, Tariq.
Good morning, Rick.
Now, you're currently the Director of Product Management for SunSystems and Q&A. What was your career path to get you into this fantastic role?
Very interesting. So, career path has been long. It's been long with financial services, been long with SunSystems. I've worked at Infor for over, 18 years now. Prior to working at Infor, I was a consultant on the road and worked a lot with reporting applications. So when a job came up at Systems Union at the time to work with Actuate, I don't know if many people remember the word Actuate and the word Vision, it looked quite interesting and I took it on. So the role was to work with Lasata, an old product team of ours. And from there, it just spawned into the roles I've got at Infor. So worked within the SunSystems product team, went off to work with the EPM team under the Infor OS at the time, and then back again with the SunSystems. And then I took a short break with Infor and left to go with a competitor. And now I'm back again to work for SunSystems as their Director of Product Management and thoroughly enjoying the days and the job that's in hand now.
Oh, thanks for that introduction. Now, what is it that you like best about what you actually do?
The best thing about what I like doing right now is working with partners, working with customers, and working with the great team that we've got. We've got a great development director that's come on board, Chris Moore, who you'll hear from later. He's been a phenomenal fresh breath air for us. And actually, I love working with the product. I love working with SunSystems. For me, SunSystems, when I first looked at it, I thought, well, what is this product? But genuinely, I've really grown to, you grow to love this product so much. And when you cut us in half, it says SunSystems. And when you see a customer using it, or when you see a name out there and you say to your kids, or you say to your family, yeah, they use SunSystems. You have a sense of pride in that application. You have a sense of pride. And that's what makes me feel great about doing this job, is that when I speak to a customer, or when an enhancement gets put in or makes a change to the product, it's going out there into real world production use.
What makes you smile about your job?
There's bits that make me smile, but there's also bits that make me cry. So let's get that right. Okay.
Real tears.
Yeah, real tears. The bits that make me smile is seeing, success, seeing the product change, seeing the product evolve. What makes me smile is to know that SunSystems is still here, thriving after 40 years, still going strong. The partner community is so deep in knowledge of product knowledge. So for me, it makes me smile to know that SunSystems is still thriving today.
It makes you smile when you see success. So what does success look like to you?
In terms of the product, net new customers. But for the biggest part of the success for me has been the drive towards getting to the cloud. That has been a success rate for me. Prior to coming on towards Infor, and prior to many years back, we had a very on-premise solution. And now driving to the cloud, that looks, for me, and that's driving success.
Okay, but that's about the product, that's about your role. But what about you, Tariq? What is success to you?
Success for me is being happy. Okay, genuinely, it's about being happy with what I do. If I can walk away from my job feeling happy, I see that as successful for me.
Okay, that's wonderful. So what makes you feel inspired to be your best self? Now, you've had a long and successful career, okay? What important lesson have you learned along your career journey so far?
Is to take nothing for granted. Genuinely, things change within a minute. Working within Infor, I've seen things change drastically, and I've seen things in my own personal life change as well. And for me, to take nothing for granted and enjoy every moment of that journey that I'm on that moment.
That's wonderful. And on that note, I mean, just sort of look at you. You look a pretty fit chap. I understand you're a runner.
That's correct, yes. I do love my running. I'm a keen runner. Just before I came out to Vietnam, I ran a local half marathon.
Wow.
So that was quite nice. Thank you, yes. And I've got another one planned. So I do enjoy my sports. I do enjoy going out, being adventurous. I love being adventurous with the children, taking them out on little adventures. We do a lot of paddleboarding in our local area along the lakes, along the canals. I love running. And I run a small football club as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for the over 40s. So we run for the over 40s.
Oh, young folks.
Young folks, and we do it for a lot of charity events as well for parents in the local area. So yeah, I love keeping fit and keeping healthy. I think it's good. The good thing about doing stuff with sports is also clears your mind. If you have a bad day at the office, you can suddenly say, right, I'm either going to go for a walk, I'm going to go for a run, or just do something different. It breaks that momentum, and then you can reset. And it's so important for all of us to do that, I think. Very important.
Wonderful. Now, your talk about running has just triggered a thought. I was meeting with one of my mastermind groups. I'm in several global mastermind groups, and one of them asked me a question, and I had to really pause and think, but you've just triggered it. And his question to me is, what's my walk-on song?
Oh.
And why? And it's actually, from Vangelis, Chariots of Fire, running along the beach.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I used to really love running before I've actually got long COVID. I haven't run since April 22.
Oh, gosh.
I can't run to the end of the room without collapsing. But that's another story. But you triggered that vision, you running down the beach. Okay, so that's my walk-on song.
Yes.
What would be your walk-on song or run-on song?
Oh, gosh. So this is very different to what most people would say. Most people would say Chariots of Fire, Rocky, Survivor, Eye of the Tiger.
Most people then, thanks.
Yes, yeah, that's what say most people. But look, for me, running is a very different game. So I run mainly at night. People think, why are you running at night? And that's because I've put the kids to bed. Things have, we've more or less closed off for work. And then I go for a run about 9:30, 10 o'clock. And I've always thought, why am I doing this? But then the song that just before triggers me is a Hans Zimmer song. It's not even a song that many people know, but it's a theme tune to the Batman, The Dark Knight.
Ah.
Yeah, and it just plays in my mind. And I always think about that. And I think, oh, gosh, yes, I've gone out in my running outfit, my hat, my high-vis jacket, my head torch, and run through the forest. And I feel like the Batman at that time of night. Yeah. So
and is it just running in your head, or are you humming it?
I do hum it, Jen, sometimes. I do feel like, I am the Batman out there. There's no one else around.
And would you like to hum it now?
No.
I didn't think so.
I do have it playing in my head, though, to be honest with you.
Okay, yeah. You'll probably be stuck with that thought throughout the day.
Yes.
So, super successful, long career, runner. I've heard, you run the young over 40s football club.
Yep.
And you do a lot of stuff for charity as well. So, question I have to ask, what do people misunderstand about you?
I think most people just think I am just a person who is just dedicated to SunSystems, and I am dedicated to SunSystems from a work perspective. But I have a very keen desire to help people, a very keen desire to help and do charitable work. I'm a family man, and I'm just a person who wants to do the best for everyone around me as much as I possibly can. I don't think people have that misconception that they see me for who I am, and I just come across as what you see is what you get.
Okay, thanks for that. Now, the theme of our podcast is, and our podcast series, and my theme, if you know me, is business as unusual. So what's the most unusual experience you've ever had in business so far?
So far, gosh. I think the most unusual has not been in this job here, but it's in a previous job where...
With Sage?
No, not with Sage. Not even with Sage. It's with Royal Caribbean.
Oh.
So I used to work for a cruise line company. And we were out on the ship, part of an inaugural. So it's got nothing to do with SunSystems here. It's part of another software company. And as part of it, we're doing 2 rollouts. One to do with bag tags, so luggage can move from the point at port to the actual cabins. And the second part was a very interesting, half the team were doing cable laying. And they were doing cable laying, and it came to this one room in the ship, and they asked, what is that room? And they said, that's the prison. That's the prison. And we said, what? The ship has a prison? Yeah, it accommodates 6 people maximum. And that was the most unusual part of my career, just looking at this prison. And they said, oh, it gets better. It goes, we've got this IT room here, which, it's a big glass container. And this immense ship could be controlled by remote control by Miami, but it was this prison that got me, on board a ship. That was the most unusual part of my career.
Oh, wow. That was strange. And it was empty at the time.
It was empty, thoroughly empty, yeah.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Now, let's switch to talk a little bit about the work that you do. Now, have you observed any trends on the adoption of SunSystems Cloud?
Yeah, what we're finding is that net new right now are all asking for the cloud. Our customers out there are looking to say, what does the cloud offer? They're looking at better ways of servicing their industries. They're moving away from on-premise. The customers out now are not looking forward to having to outlay IT infrastructures. They're not looking forward to having an IT team. They're now looking forward for us to take care and manage that whole entire solution. When you look at SunSystems, we've had the offering of single tenant previously, and now we've got the offering of multi-tenant. And when you look at a company's infrastructures, the trend has been, well, I no longer want anything to deal with. I don't want to have an IT team. I want someone else to look after that. And that's the current trend for the cloud. But on top of that, there is an additional layer which is coming on board, which is about what else does the cloud have to offer? All right, I'm on the cloud. What else can you offer me? Can you offer me any other services? Can you offer me any other add-ons or any other products that work in the cloud? And that's been the biggest pull for customers to say, well, I've come here now. I've come onto your journey, onto your solution. Can you give me anything else? And that's what I'm noticing now, and that's what I'm seeing. Now, we're grateful at Infor. And I've seen this from other solutions out there. But at Infor, we have this offering, which is Infor OS. And that bolts together quite nicely with SunSystems. And when we talk about trends in terms of storage of data, in terms of visualizations, in terms of metrics, in terms of doing analysis, Infor OS will start to give us that. And we can start to meet those trends that customers are asking for in the cloud. If we just took SunSystems and we put it independently in the cloud, I think we've got a very cold story there.
Yeah. So have you, in this trend for this cloud adoption, is it sort of uniform across the whole world? Or are you already seeing differences across the different regions?
Different regions have different demands. But different industries, I think it's more about different industries have got different demands. Okay. So, for example, if we move into hospitality, they've got different demands there with how they use cloud adoption and how they use SunSystems. It's almost like a back office piece of software, the workhorse. You've got people who move into financial services and it's the front end application. They want to see more reporting metrics. They want to see more visualization. So they start to use the solution slightly different. I wouldn't say it's based on the region itself. Countries, it's independent because it's such a global way of using products.
So it's industry.
It's industry specific.
Is there any industry sort of leading the pack?
Not at the moment, I would say. Everyone is. It's actually who runs that industry or that customer itself. If they've come from a competitor, often they've seen something that they're after, and they'll want that within SunSystems or they'll want that within an Infor product. So they'll make a demand for it. But no, I don't think there's anyone at this moment in time that I can see that's leading the pack.
Okay, so it's industry driven. How about the size of the company? Does that make any difference? Are they a big global multi-billion-dollar company, or they're just an SME operating in London or something?
Not really, no. The beauty of SunSystems is it can work, as you know, Rick. You've used it for many years.
One or two.
Yeah, one or two. Yes. Let's not forget that. A keen user of SunSystems. It doesn't matter for us. It just depends on how they roll out the product and how they've integrated with other solutions.
Okay. And what is Infor's roadmap and commitment? Putting you on the spot here because you are the Director of Product Management. What's the roadmap and Infor's commitment to evolving this SunSystems on the cloud and Infor OS and all the other offerings around it?
So what I can say is we've got Infor and SunSystems together. Our commitment is the cloud. Our journey is cloud first. Our commitment is to drive our customers from on-premise into the cloud, and that's the future for us. We want to push together as much as what the Infor OS catalog offers us, and we want to drive all our functions and features towards the cloud.
All right. Yeah, you mentioned that Sun or the cloud offering, there wasn't anything specific tailored for any industry. However, at the same time, you had mentioned the relationship with Infor Hospitality, and at the end of the day, out of the box, there is an integration between Infor Hospitality offerings and SunSystems. So if you're going to use Infor HMS, which is the PMS system, it's there. And you also mentioned in our conversation before that, yes, it's up to the customers, but it's also up to the partners and their knowledge. And funnily enough, we in TRG, we have a standard hospitality core, USALI compliant, out of the box on the cloud. So partners like TRG and others around the world do have specializations for the industries that they've done. And given that we're celebrating 30 years this year, we've touched a lot of industries. Anyway, another question. Customers are now moving to the cloud. Okay. It's still sort of the beginning, as it were. And you mentioned before that they want the advantages of the cloud. They're looking for other things. So how can a customer or a user propose ideas to you or Infor on things that they want?
Yes, it's really good. The advantage of us being in the cloud means that we can work with other solutions. And we're going to be showcasing this soon at our partner event. And more will be on display when you come to the partner event. Now, in terms of how we now have the functionality of APIs, we have the pure cloud connectivity. So when customers say they would like to work with certain solutions in the cloud, SunSystems has now opened up. This business logic layer, this business objects are now available. So if a customer said to us, I would like to connect my solution to SunSystems, we have that ability to do it.
Wonderful.
Now, fundamentally, if somebody comes to us and said there is a solution which the two need to work together, like you've mentioned before, the HMS product and SunSystems, or we've got internal enterprise planning management that needs to work with SunSystems, we have mechanisms in place to make that work. And that's where the capabilities where SunSystems is now versus where it used to be gives us this option in the cloud. So when a customer comes to us or when a partner comes to us and says, can you make the two work together? It's a lot more easier for us to have this conversation now. Okay.
So you do encourage customers to put their hand up and ask, basically?
Yes, of course, yeah. We've got, enhancements that come in through customers. We have got questions that come in through customers say, oh, look, I think SunSystems could be better done like this. Or, we've got some great customers out there that provide us direct feedback. We've opened the doors up to having feedback pushed to us, people criticizing it or saying what they feel. And we're trying our best to make those changes. But at the same time, we've also had partners who make those demands on us and request some changes as well. So we are open to that.
As the Director of Product Management, though, for the product itself, how do you evaluate any of these ideas or requests coming in?
Very good question, Rick. What people have to remember is there's thousands of requests that come in. But on top of that, there's additional requests. So Infor OS has requests that come in from meeting their technology demands. There's the Infor roadmap that we have to adopt to. There's a technology roadmap as well as that we have to adopt. On top of that, there's security enhancements that we need to put into the product that make sure it's stable, secure, and safe to use. And then we get to the product features, the product enhancements. We're fortunate that SunSystems has a wealth of product features in there, but it still needs more to be added in. So where does all of those enhancements sit? They sit in the backlog. We have to review them on a priority basis. I'll work with our development director to ensure that we have a clear roadmap vision for the next 2 to 3 years and to say where some major enhancements can fit in. But at the same time, how can we get some of those small drops in? How can we get some of those small quick wins in? And that's what we look towards doing. So we now have a biannual release cadence for the cloud. At the same time, we try to make sure we get the major features in, but also line up some of those small drops into those release cycles.
Okay, so on that note, can we be expecting any exciting upgrades this year?
Well, the upgrade itself is the cloud. Okay, so that's the latest version of the product. In terms of that will be now the current version, and that will be the version that our customers will see accelerating and getting more and more enhancements as we get going through the years. In terms of enhancements, I would say in terms of features that are coming out, we've got an exciting roadmap coming up, and they cross over into a few of our key areas. So one within the core part of SunSystems, we're looking to add some more key features in there that work with legislation in local areas. In terms of capturing in documents as well, we're looking towards making sure and improving that area as well. And then going forward, in terms of our reporting application, we want to do some big enhancements in terms of our reporting application to look at budgeting, to look at further analysis and getting data better out from our beloved Q&A product.
Yeah, we love Q&A. We love Q&A. So what resources does Infor provide to help partners develop custom applications and add-ons, given that, you mentioned before, partners can do this. So how do you support them? How do you encourage them?
We encourage from a SunSystems perspective. So we've got a SunSystems. We're more dedicated towards providing that kind of feature from a SunSystems perspective. What we try to do and what we've said before is partners can go away, look at the Infor U campus. Infor OS provides its own toolkits. It's a Mongoose toolkit, it's a low code ready to develop on the cloud. And we encourage our partners to go down that route. In terms of knowledge sharing, in terms of hand holding, Infor provides services to manage that. We provide the APIs from a SunSystems perspective to say, you can connect, you can use our business logic, and you can work with the product. But we will not provide you with the mechanisms in terms of developing that solution.
But you still heavily encourage partners.
We do.
To build stuff and put it onto your marketplace.
That's correct, yes. So we have got a marketplace, and the marketplace is growing. The marketplace for us has been a key driver for Infor as a whole. Here I'm speaking. And you'll hear this from Infor OS. They're launching their marketplace solution as well. We have got a few products in there from a SunSystems perspective. And yes, we would like to make sure that we can make that grow.
So that's great that there's tons of support and encouragement to partners to build out the product. And by the sounds of it, this marketplace from Infor is sort of the budding ecosystem that I know we're a partner. We've been waiting for this. And yes, we're working hard away at building stuff as well. Now, another question. When it comes to end users, what now they're on the cloud, what ongoing training and or support do they have access to?
So this has changed dramatically in the last year. So we've created which I'll talk a lot about now in the next coming year as well, is a partner enablement solution. So we've got a new partner enablement, which will enable our partners to get better training about upcoming releases. We're going to talk about things that we've deployed in the solution. So you'll be able to get videos, you'll be able to get documentation, appropriate KB articles. All of that will be made available also to our customers. So anything that we have in terms of releases, we'll publish them onto our partner portal. We'll publish them onto KB articles and onto Infor Campus videos as well. So we have a strong roadmap that will cover all of our deliveries for the next 2 years. And we'll have a strong roadmap in terms of how we're going to enable our partners and reuse that information for our customers as well. Now, that's key for us because in the past, what we've ended up doing is relying on our partners to go away, use the product and find out how stuff works. And fundamentally, that's not been great. We've now making changes. There's a team of us now put together to look at this information and say, right, we need to enable everyone. We need to make sure people are comfortable with the new features that are coming out. If I'm a new customer right now, I want to know how to use a product. I want to know how to configure it. I want to know the depths of it. We're putting all of this together and we've started to do this. We had a very successful launch a few weeks back with a new feature we added, which is around our storage API. And that's just a starting point. And we're going to do more and more of these as we go on.
So am I detecting it's really, as you release new features, and since it is a cloud product, they're coming out all the time, you're going to focus the enablement on that because it's new to everyone.
Of course it is. Yes.
I mean, if you don't enable the partners, no one's going to know how to do it. So that's the starting point.
Correct.
And then presumably, is there going to be a backlog to work on the backlog to what if you're a brand new customer? How do we enable them?
Well, then that's a very good question because the product is quite... it's been around for many years. So we've got a catalog, which we're going to be reviewing, which is our documentation, and we're going to try to improve on that documentation. But what's important to note is that a lot of our partners have got the knowledge on how to train up new customers, new users. So we're going to leverage a lot on what our partners have got to offer. There's some great academy courses out there yourselves as well.
Yes, funny enough, we have the TRG Academy for end users, which is the A to Z of training for SunSystems.
So that's for new users. We can't go back and delve into 35 years worth of functionality. It's 40 years, should I say?
40?
Yeah, 40 years, yeah, 40 years. But we can look at the core of the product, improve that documentation, but really it's about new functionality.
Okay. Now, Tariq, if you could give users one piece of advice, what would it be? Believe in us.
Believe in us now. We are making changes. The advice I'd give right now is, the product is moving in the right direction. We're using the right technologies. We've got the right team behind the product. The sun is shining bright again for us.
Wonderful. That's why it's called SunSystems, right? Yeah. Now, that's for users. What about prospects? What piece of advice would you give to them?
In terms of prospects who are looking at SunSystems right now, look around you. Look around at what the competitors are doing. We are leading that way. We are leading that way with SunSystems. We're leading that way with Infor OS, the technology that bolts us all together. We haven't put a layer on top and it's not disconnected. It's now connected. We are connected with other applications within Infor. The user experience is much more better than it was before. So look around you, look at other applications, look at our reporting solutions, how easy it is to get data out of SunSystems. At the same time, how easy it is to get data into SunSystems.
Now, we've had a very long, very, very interesting, very insightful discussion. You're clearly passionate about what you do. You're clearly successful in what you do. So what's the one piece of advice you would give to somebody starting out in their career who wants to end up just as successful as you.
The same advice I gave myself back when I started is work hard, grab the opportunities that come, and learn from everyone around you. There is a wealth of knowledge of people around you, and just absorb. Listen, listen, listen. That's what I did.
Thank you. Great sage advice there. Okay. Use it and turn into Tariq. So Tariq, what's the one question that I didn't ask you that you wished me to ask you? And whatever it is, how would you answer that?
Yeah, so what you didn't ask me was, why did I come back to Infor? Okay. Some people have asked that question, some people haven't. They've steered away from it. Maybe they were worried. Was there something else there? So, yes, if you had asked that question to me, and I would have said, well, when I was looking, or when I was in my previous job, I was quite happy. There was nothing making me wanting to leave. But at the same time, I was always open to looking at other solutions out there. So I was like a prospect. I was like a net new customer again. Okay. And I got approached and said, SunSystems is making some headway here. Would you be interested in coming back?
Who approached you?
Joe at the time. Joe, good old Joe. Yeah, Joe Vargas.
Kudos to Joe.
So Joe approached and said, would you be interested in coming back to SunSystems? And looking at, the competitors out there, I was working for a competitor at the time, Rick, and I said, well, what's wrong with staying here? I could easily have stayed here, but fundamentally, when I looked at SunSystems and looked at what it was doing, it was moving in the right direction. It was showing this unified product, working with all other products within Infor, finally, and it was the direction towards to a true cloud solution. And that, for me, was a game changer. I thought, yes, this is the right way. This is going in the right direction. I need to come on board on this train and help push SunSystems forward.
Okay, so you made the leap and you came back. And how long ago was that?
A year and a half now. I think it'll be coming up soon. So a year and a half ago. So
I now have to ask, any regrets?
No. None at all. No, we've got a great team. You will know that we've got a great IBU that's been set up. Yeah. We've got some key leaders in the IBU. We've got a great new development director. We've got all of the leaders in the IBU are great as well. Andrew Newman, who runs the IBU, is phenomenal. So under great leadership and doing really well here, enjoying it.
And can you see a big, you left for some years. Have you seen a big shift change? Apart from, hey, there's a clear direction and things are moving, but have you noticed anything else?
Yes. So ethos. The ethos around the people has changed, Rick, massively. People want to do and want to make this successful. Everybody now is driving the right direction. In the past, we were still part of a big wheel in Infor, but now being under an IBU, people now get it. We want to make SunSystems successful.
Okay. Sounds like everyone's very, very engaged.
They are.
and happy to be working there. All right. So I've asked you an awful lot of questions, Tariq. I'll allow you to ask me one.
Oh, thank you, Rick. I really appreciate that. So Rick, I've come to your office, and thank you to everyone at TRG. They've made us welcome here. I really appreciate it. It's been a phenomenal experience. You've been working with SunSystems longer than anyone else around.
Since 1988.
1988. Oh, there you go then. And looking at everyone here, everyone again, it's like an IBU you've got here. How have you made this so successful, and for everyone around here to be so upbeat and driving TRG forward? What have you done? What's your success? How have you made it successful?
That's a good question. It's a big question. And I'll try and keep it short because, I make things overcomplicated. So I'll try and keep it simple. I think there's some of the elements that you were talking about. Okay. You came back because there was a clear vision and you believed. Okay. You say, you're saying to prospects, you're saying to users, believe.
That's right.
So that's my job. My job is to make people believe, all right? And I think people believe because I believe.
That's right.
I believe that we are successful. We have been successful for 30 years. And that's, we're going to celebrate 30 years this year. And as I've been trying at pains to explain to people, what we need to do now is to reflect, a bit of introspection on how do we get here, where are we right now, and where are we going to go for the next 30 years?
That's right.
We've got to keep that vision there. We've got to keep that belief there. So why are people like that? Well, we look for the right people. And funny enough, for those who don't know, we have another company that I'm a co-founder of. I'm actually the CFO, so I'm keeping my accounting hat on here, called Great People Inside, where we do all the assessments of people. So we pick the right people and we can build them. So we have a great focus on building people. We want people to have that career. And we are now going to take it to the next level because we've very, very much focused on, I guess, the hard skills. Okay. We love Sun. We've been doing it since day one and we're still doing it. And all the people who are involved in Sun, they all love Sun as well. They're all passionate ambassadors. But where I have to put hand on heart, we've been a bit deficient on is, well, how do we build leaders? How do we build managers? So we're putting all of that kind of stuff in place. We've made some new strategic hires. We just had Victor join, who's our new CMO, on the 1st of April. No joke. I have a COO joining, and that's a big thing. So it's setting things up for the next 30 years. When I started the company, I was younger. I was 30 years younger. I'm maybe not around for the next 30 years. They'll be pushing it. So it's now making way for the next generation.
Wow, fantastic.
So it is about vision. It is about making sure that people are happy. And people are successful. And we are working on solutions like Sun, like Infor OS, and others that we do, like Infor Hospitality from Infor and Infor EPM. We love the products that we do. And just to make it clear to everyone, we only work with Infor. We don't work with any other competitor. We've worked with them in the past, and we've decided not to work with them.
Thanks.
All right, so final question for you, Tariq, and it's an easy one. Now, how can our listeners find you online?
I'm available on LinkedIn. You'll tag me, I'm sure, in this post.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So from there, you'll be able to contact me, and you'll be able to contact me through LinkedIn. So
thank you very much. Thank you, Tariq. Thank you for joining us today and sharing your great successes. And it's fantastic to hear how passionate you really are about Infor SunSystems. It resonates with me as well.
Thank you very much.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.